Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing something very different and not at all because I couldn't think of anything book related. Today we are doing a video of a solved true crime case that happened around 30 years ago here in Finland. Here this case is known as Ruumis kukkapenkissä, which translates to the corpse in the flowerbed. This is a case that I've been at least a little bit aware of all my life because this happened here in my hometown, Rovaniemi. And Rovaniemi is a pretty quiet town here in Lapland, and of course it's a big thing where something like this happens here. It was really shocking. Of course, I don't remember it. It happened 10 years before anyone even thought about me. It's not as wide to talk about as some other cases in Finland. I guess rest of the Finland has kind of forgotten this case, but this town definitely remembers. Because I love Eleanor Neal, I'm just gonna steal her usual disclaimer that I mean absolutely no disrespect to anyone I'm gonna talk about in this video. This is all information I've dug up from the internet, and when I say dug up, I mean literally dug up. There was barely information about this case online, so this video is for educational and entertainment purposes. I hope you enjoy. Ananda Kulatunga was a Sri Lankan pathologist. According to some sources, he moved to Finland in the 60s with his Russian ex-wife, but this is unconfirmed. What is confirmed is that this marriage ended in a divorce. In 1976, when Ananda was substituting for the municipal doctor, he met his next wife, a nurse, Riitta Hietanen. Riitta's name is different in almost every source. In some sources it's Riitta Hietanen Kulatunga, and in others it's Ritva Santanen. I don't know why, but in this video I'm gonna say Riitta Hietanen Kulatunga because it was in the first source that I found. The two got married in 1978, and in 1979 the two moved into their own house in Hirvaskatu, Rovaniemi, where Ananda worked as a chief pathologist. He officially got the Finnish citizenship in 1982. The marriage of Riitta and Ananda was not a happy one. It was rumored that Ananda cheated on his wife several times with other women, and the neighbors also saw both of them walking with bruises on their faces, so the marriage also seemed to be abusive on both ends. The neighbors of Hietanen Kulatunga have also described Ananda as someone who was very polite and someone who always said hi when he saw his neighbors. On July 20, 1989, Ananda Kulatunga disappeared in the thin air. When people asked where her husband had gone, Riitta would tell them that Ananda had traveled back to Sri Lanka and died a violent death. The police then looked into this story and found no proof of Ananda traveling anywhere, no plane tickets, etc. And the whole thing just started to seem a tad more suspicious. The police didn't believe that Ananda had gone anywhere, not even when Riitta traveled to Sri Lanka herself to look for her husband. So from the start, Riitta was the number one suspect. And of course that's not in any shape or form unusual, because of course people are more likely to get killed by someone they know. I will add here that there is not much information about Riitta online. All I know about her is that she is a nurse. So police was really looking into Riitta, and during the winter of this year she was questioned 6 times, and sometimes these questionings would last for the whole day. Police grew more and more suspicious of the woman, and then suddenly she changed her story. In May 7, 1990, Riitta claimed that Ananda had committed suicide. According to Riitta, everything in Ananda's life was going just wrong. His doctoral thesis would not be accepted, and for some reason he had lost the right to see his children from his previous marriage. His relatives in Sri Lanka were also suffering and in danger as the country was in a guerrilla war. Riitta even claimed to have received a phone call from Ananda, and during this phone call Ananda had told her how depressed and hopeless he was feeling. Now, I couldn't find any information about Ananda's first marriage or his children, but Riitta definitely lied about his doctoral thesis. The thesis was ready and it was just waiting to be printed. At the time of receiving this phone call, Riitta had been visiting her family in Kaunus, her hometown, and according to her she drove home as fast as she could, only to find her husband lying dead on the bed after shooting himself with a parabellum pistol that belonged to Riitta's father. Riitta even claimed to have found a suicide note which she burned in the fireplace. In this alleged suicide note, Ananda had told her that because suicide is a disgrace, she should keep it a secret, and that he wanted to be buried in the yard of their house. So Riitta claimed she had only acted on Ananda's last wish, and she had buried him in a flowerbed, and after that she had planted pathebur on his grave. The next day, May 8th, the police dug up the remains of Ananda Kulatunga. The corpse was carefully wrapped in a trash bag and it was in an amazing condition. Remember that at this point Ananda had been missing for almost a year. The police was able to do almost every necessary operation on the body, like a pathological operation, which really helped the investigation. They found out that Ananda had in fact died from a gunshot to head, but they also found out that it was extremely unlikely that Ananda would have shot himself because he had not been the one holding the gun. The parabellum pistol was later found at Rita's childhood home and police was able to confirm that it was the murder weapon. So all this led to the arrest of Riitta Hietanen Kulatunga. On November 5th, 1990, she was convicted for manslaughter and was sent to prison for 9 years. And so, there's this fun thing in the Finnish law where, this is Jaffa by the way, if you are convicted for the first time, you only have to serve half of your sentence. So after serving in prison for around 4.5 years, Riitta Hietanen Kulatunga was released. So of course there has been criticism about the fact that Riitta was convicted for manslaughter instead of murder, and honestly we will never know. We will never know what exactly led to the events of July 1989, and we will never know if this was planned or not. All we know now, 30 years later, is that Ananda Kulatunga died at 49 years old and was buried behind his own garage in his own flowerbed. So this was a very different kind of video for my channel. Let me know if you'd like more true crime content from me or if I should just stick to books. I will probably make some more true crime kind of content because I really enjoy true crime and I like researching stuff. These reviews and research kind of videos are almost my favorite kind of makes. So my content is probably gonna go in that direction from here.